Hey YouTube, it is I, Zach Minder, your coach of the Canadian Sarah Lucius, and welcome to my CDL Draft Analysis. We are so back. We are defending our championship, but there are a lot more coaches this time. Instead of 14, there's 16, and the competition is even tougher than last time. There are a good amount of returning coaches. I would like to say around half of the coaches here are returning. Actually, that's probably wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 5. Okay, like 6 or 7. Okay, there's like about half are returning, but there's also a lot of new faces, and there are some good players, so it's gonna be a blast. Woo! So I needed to draft me a really good team, and I'll be honest, I had a lot of not problems drafting, but I made a lot of transactions in grace. So I'm going to talk about my original team, and when it comes up, I may talk about my original pick or something like that. And if you couldn't tell, shout out to the playlist I have. I'm using the same music I use in my battles, so if it gets all intense, I mean, that's how I feel about my draft, bro. It gets intense. But this draft is a little different. As you notice, I have a dock open, the CDL Season 2 Ubers UU. So it's an Ubers league, but not extremely Ubers. And if you kind of don't get what that means, just think of allowing Ubers like more like Lugia, Fluttermane, Kiram Black, but not Ubers like Groudon, no Zacian, and no, what's another Uber? Lunala, no Kali Ice, no Mewtwo. So it's kind of like, think of the BBL, but with like the silvers and the bronzes and maybe like 2 or 3 golds. So it's a little bit watered down, if that's how you want to term it. And this league also has high tier Terra, and the super highest of the Terra captains are locked behind a lower tier Uber. So for example, if I pick Lugia, who's the lowest tier of Ubers, I can get a Terra like Terra Raging Bolt or Ogerpon Wellspring. But if I pick a high tier Uber like Fluttermane, Solgaleo, Kiram White, or Zekrom, then I'm stuck with a 17-point Terra, which are still good, like Terra Ogerpon Teal, Terra Iron Hands, Terra Quaquaval, Terra Ursaluna. There's still some great options, but it's nothing like a Terra Iron Moth, Terra Iron Boulder, Terra Kingambit, Terra Latias. Like, those are some other Terras that are just so strong. But you can only get those strong Terras if you get a lower tier Uber, which kind of balances things out a little bit. So it's not like all the high tier Ubers will get taken right away. And I'll tell you guys this right now. There's out of the 20 Ubers, all the 21 pointers got taken and all the 24 pointers got taken, while there was a balance of 23 and 22 still on the board. So it's very interesting, and I actually really enjoyed making the tiering for this. Shout out to Mario Fan. We both did the tiering together in literally one night, and it was really fun. So yeah, I guess I should talk about my first pick. So I was 7th overall pick, and I really wanted to get a 24-point Uber. Actually, originally, I really wanted to get Terra Zarude. And Terra Zarude is 19 points. So I was looking at the 22-point Ubers, but when I got an earlier pick in the draft, I said, why not? Let's go for Solgaleo. If I don't get Solgaleo, I'll probably go for like Giratina Origin or something. But Solgaleo stayed. Fluttermane got taken. Kiram White got taken. All the other 24s were still on the board, and then I saw lower tier Ubers getting taken. Chien-Pao, Dialga Origin, and then, yeah, Magearna. No, that got taken, like, after me. But, yeah, basically, 2 24-pointers went, and then, like, a couple of 21-pointers went. And Giratina went. So, let's talk about my pick. I got Solgaleo. And this Pokemon gives me my Steel type and just a pretty decently fast Pokemon. This Pokemon's overall so bulky, and with weakness policy, agility, it can go nuts. But it's not even just about that. Sunsteel Strike just clicks. And Psychic Fangs is always a nice good Psychic move to have, especially to break screens. And also, ignoring abilities of other Pokemon is so big. Like, that is such a huge deal. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is actually how it works, but I'm pretty sure it ignores things like unaware. I think. So that's actually really useful for a weakness policy set. And it also gets great coverage on the physical and special side. Heat Crash is always nice, but also having Flamethrower, Earthquake, Crunch, CC, Stone Edge even, and also getting like Wild Charge Thunderbolt. This Pokemon gets amazing coverage. It is the Pokemon of the Sun after all, so it makes sense against the fire moves. Which is just really beneficial on a Pokemon like this to hit other Steel types that usually this type combination struggles with. It gets CZ for Dark types, which is so big. And this Pokemon can work in Trick Room or as an Agility Pokemon. Usually you're going to probably not run Trick Room because it is pretty fast. Now, after getting my Uber, I knew that I was going to save my Terra Captain for later. And I just needed to get an insane round 2. And normally round 1 picks like Dragapult, Iron Valiant, Gouging Fire were all still on the board. And that surprised me. A lot of Terra Captains at this point were taken round 2. And Golden Go was also taken. And then Caesar got taken. And it was my turn. And I was like, do I take Valpult or Gouging Fire? So Luke, who was pick 6, I was telling him I'm probably going to get Valiant. And he's like, I want Gouging Fire. So I'm like, okay, well, I won't take Gouging. I was thinking about it, but I went with Valiant at the end of the day. Because this just gives me a really good Fairy type. I really wanted to draft a different Fairy type this draft. Hatterene, you know, I love drafting Hatterene. And I really wanted to have it back on my team. But Valiant gives me a Fighting type as well and a Fairy type. So basically, this and Solgaleo, I think, pair so well together. Because Valiant kind of takes down what Solgaleo's weak to. And Solgaleo also helps Valiant with other things that it's weak to. So they kind of pair together really well. And I'm really excited to get to use this. Solgaleo's the best answer to Poison types. Valiant can help against those Dark types that Solgaleo may struggle with. And yeah, this one is just so versatile. It's strong on both sides. It's pretty fast. It can do a lot of things. And that's what I want Valiant to do. It's kind of like the Fairy type Dragapult. It does a lot of things. And that's what's going to be awesome about this mon. It gets Agility, Calm Mind, Sword Stance. I actually thought this Pokemon got Bulk Up. I'm really sad it didn't. It also gets Encore to be annoying. It gets lots of coverage. So Valiant can probably hit you super effectively. So you gotta watch out for this mon. This mon is the queen of versatility. And also, its shiny is so cool. The Showdown finally shows their shinies now. Like, it's such a cool shiny. And this will probably be my Zell of the season. I know people like to know who the people, aka Zell. Zell likes to know he is the Iron Valiant this season. So Galio, I don't have a nickname for you. I don't normally have nicknames locked in for my Pokemon until I'm actually prepping. And I usually think of them on the spot. Like on Solgaleo, I had like Nebby as a nickname because of the story in Sun and Moon where like the Lily called it Nebby. So I don't know. But yeah, the next Pokemon that I wanted to get, this mon is crazy. Now, I actually could have gotten... No, never mind. I actually really wanted to get Dragapult round 3, but obviously got taken. I told my boy Zell to pick it up. But I really wanted an annoying defensive Pokemon that could pair well with Solgaleo and Valiant. And this Pokemon has one crucial weakness in Ice. And both Solgaleo and Valiant can deal with them. I took Gliscor. Welcome to the team, Gliscor. Fire Fang. That's probably not what I'm going to nickname you, but maybe when I fight Spoopy, I'll nickname it Fire Fang. But this mon is just so physically tanky, and Poison Heal is such a good ability. I also really, really, really like the fact it gets all these hazards. T-Spikes, Spikes, and Stealth Rocks. Though this Pokemon could just set up hazards, and Protect Toxic is always an option. And this Pokemon isn't even the worst offensively. It can run Agility Sword Stance. Like, you have to trust. And Gliscor is just a goat. It's just really a goat. It gets a lot of moves, knock off, U-turn, and it's just annoying. And it just pairs well to get these offensive threats to sweep. So, I leaned into this angle. I wanted bulk. So, I got an unaware Pokemon. Clefable was taken, but the unaware Pokemon I really wanted wasn't. If this Pokemon wasn't taken, I would have went Mascot Gaming. But as you can tell, I have a pretty dominantly physical team right now. So I needed to get a special attacker. So I got Skeledirge. I can't spell, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Wait, no. You know, it was I had it. Skeledirge. See, I can't spell. But Dirge is on the team. We are gonna name it Ceruledge. Just kidding. But Dirge is here. It's another physically bulky Pokemon. It also gets Torch Song and Unaware. This Pokemon is going to be my big special attacker. This mon's going to be clicking Torch Song going boom, and then boost. This Pokemon's also just incredible defensively with the Will-O-Wisp. And honestly, like, this mon is pretty strong. It can Alluring Voice to stop setup. It gets Slack Off for recovery. So both my walls can just be annoying to break and can recover. So yeah, that's why I got Durgy. Durgy is a goat of goats. And it can also roar along with my hazard stack from Gliscor. And man, this Pokemon is going to be so exciting to use. I've been wanting to draft. I haven't got to use all three of the starters. I've used Meowscarada. I've yet to use Quaquaval or Dirge. And I finally get to try the Fire type one. I've been dying to draft this Pokemon. But usually I just went with Ceruledge because it usually fit the mold of my teams better. But I wanted to try something new, so I got the Dirge. And also, in a higher power level format, having Unaware is going to be so useful for those insane Terra Captains I can set up. Now, this is the first pickup I made in Grace. I actually had a Lola Mola in this slot, but my team was becoming a little too bulky with my picks. So I had to move something around, and I settled on another Pokemon, a 17-point Terra Captain. By the way, this is open Terra, meaning that I can Terra this into any type as long as I tell my opponent before the game. And my first Terra Captain out of my two is Iron Hands. Iron Hands is a 154 HP. This is the Blissey of physical, bro. This is insanely bulky. And it can Terra out of its ground weakness. It can Terra into any of these types. Any of these types. And this mon could just be so annoying for any opponent to deal with, honestly. This mon is a threat. A class threat. Like, I don't even hate the idea of just, like, using this as a Sword Stance Sweeper or just an unbreakable defensive wall. That's the thing about this Pokemon. This thing is really hard to kill. These three Pokemon here are just insanely difficult to kill, and with all three of them combined, you're dealing with a monster army. And this team is just going to break you for a Solgaleo or Valiant to claim. So, watch out for my bulky threats. These bulky threats are going to be so annoying for any team to fucking break. And I think this pickup has made my team significantly better, because right now I struggle with bulky waters, and this mon eats them up with electric moves. And that's what I needed, because water types were getting to be a problem for me. So, yeah, I got Hands. Now, my next pickup, I needed Hazard Removal. So, I got one of the best out there. And it's not like a Donphan, or a Blastoise, or an Iron Treads, or a Great Tusk, or a Terapagos, but it's pretty close. It also gives me a Grounded Poison, and overall a great special wall to complement my physical walls. I got Tentacruel. Now, I debated dropping this or Aloe, but I figured this would be the better Pokemon to keep because of its special walling capabilities. It also gets cool moves like Acid Armor, and also Haze and Sword Stance, so I can see this mon cooking. This mon does give me a great T-Spiker along with Gliscor, so I don't have to force Gliscor to use it every time. But it can also just, like, hit decently hard, but it's just an annoying special wall. And I could just easily click, like, Toxic, Knockoff, Flick Turn. Like, this Pokemon is, in its natural speed, is fast. And Clear Body is a great ability in general, as Clear Body allows it to not get affected by things like Sticky Webs and stuff like that. Rain Dish is pretty cool for the Rain team, and Liquid Ooze is always neat tech. So yeah, this Pokemon's just your classic special wall, and it's honestly just pretty freaking awesome. So yeah, that's that. Now, we're gonna talk about my next pick. Now, this is another pick I picked in my free agent transactions. And I needed a Steel type, another one? Well, I really was struggling with ground types. Dirge, Solgaleo, and Iron Hands are weak to ground, and I don't want to force Iron Hands to Terra all the time to get out of the weakness. So, I got one of the best ground checks out there, the Earth Worm. This Pokemon gets Earth Eater, so it can eat those Earthquakes, those Earth Powers, or whatever, and get recovery. Shed-Tail is banned. If it wasn't banned, I probably would have actually picked this in the normal draft. But this one gives me another Hazard Pokemon. You see the kind of theme here. I have a very bulky team. but I also have a lot of strong threats. Iron Hands, Dirge, Valiant, and Solgaleo. And also Gliscor can even be a threat too. But yeah, this Orthworm, it's really here just to be there for ground types and another steel option, especially when Solgaleo doesn't look good into certain games. Now, this one is just, oh, it's so good. It's so nice having just this physically bulky Skarmory. It's basically Skarmory with the ground immunity, without the electric and ice weakness, or neutrality dice. No electric weakness, which is just so cool. Now, I do have to watch out for things like Excadrill, but I think I have ways around it, and I don't even know if I bring this into the Excadrill team, let's be honest. But yeah, Orthworm is kind of just there to be a silly little guy, little ground immunity, and gives me steel typing, which helps me against flying types, and helps me against dragon types, because dragon types are pretty popular, so I definitely wanted to have a lot of checks. Now, this is a Pokemon I've always wanted to use again. And what I mean by again is I just had it in a league like a bit ago, and a league and a bit ago, and a league. Well, I've had this in 1 or 2 draft leagues, and it's been my clutch. It's been a Pokemon that saved me numerous times. And it's overall just such a cool Pokemon. And as they say, it's Spoopy's favorite Pokemon. We're picking Alolan Executor, the Egerton! And yeah, we already have, since Spoopy named me after Morpeko, we're just gonna put that there. Okay, we got Alolan Eggy! And Alolan Eggy is awesome. First of all, if you watch the Sun and Moon anime, this guy is so silly, okay? Him and the Professor Oak, like the Alolan Professor Oak. I don't even know like who he is, but he has an Alolan Executor, and he made me laugh when I watched anime. So I love my boy. But this Pokemon gives me a quad water resist. As you notice, a couple of my walls are kind of weak to water, so I needed something to help me with water types. Because water type, bulky waters were kind of a struggle, so I got Egerton as a quad resist to them, and also to nuke him with grass moves. This also gives me quite a nice dragon type, and I can't Terra this Pokemon. I would have. But you'd only have 2 Terras. If you could have 3 Terras, I would have probably made this a Terra Captain immediately. And my last pick, instead of what I have, and I probably would have dropped what I had for a different Pokemon. I'm just being honest. But yeah, this Egerton can kind of go crazy. It just gets great moves. Overall, a very versatile Pokemon with its mixed attacking stats. And it's a Pokemon I'm quite comfortable with, so I feel like I can make it work in a lot of matchups. So yeah, that's the Egerton for you. Watch out for Block Alolan Executor. You gotta trust. Gotta trust. But yeah, that's the Egerton for you. Now, I wanted another Terra Captain, and honestly, the fact this Pokemon was still on the board, it didn't shock me, but if you like King Gambit Terra, then this is another good option. It's Baby Gambit. We call it Bisharp. Bisharp. And this one is a great Terra Captain. Now, this is Open Terra, so I can really get rid of this quad weakness quite easily, and even without Terra, it's something worse. This is my only Dark type, which I think is like the only thing I don't like, is that I have to rely on it. This is my Dark type, but at least it's a Dark type not weak to Fairy, so I can't be too mad. And I don't think the Steel type harms it. It's more the Dark type that harms the Steel type, if you get what I'm saying. So, this Mon is kind of a Sword Sand Sucker Punch machine. And honestly, it can put in work. Like, this Mon can put in some work. Like, man. Let him cook. And this Mon also gives me a nice Rocker, Thunder Wave, and honestly, it doesn't even need to be a sweeper. It could just be an annoying, bulky Eviolite Pokemon that could just Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave things, and then, like, Sucker Punch or Throat Chop or whatever. Even Foul Play, like. This one is a very strong Pokemon in general, and I feel like he can put in a lot of work. And it's a great physical threat, and yeah, it's not a special attacker like I would have preferred, but it's a Bisharp, man. It's Baby Gambit. It's freaking sick. And now my last Pokemon. Zack Attack, I'm very glad you didn't pick this up. And honestly, I'm tempted to nickname this after you because, well, why wouldn't I? It's Cryogonal. I felt like I really needed an Ice type with this team. And Cryo just fit it perfectly. So, Cryo. Ice type Pokemon, Ice type Nuke. It's decently strong, and it's a great special wall. Again, I wanted another specially bulky Pokemon, and it gives me another Rapid Spinner, because Tentacruel doesn't look good in every matchup. Like, you can't rely on Tentacruel for spin all the time. There's other times where I want to run other sets. So Cryo just allows me to be a little bit more flexible. Now, yes, now I do wish Bisharp could be... what's it called? I wish I had a Defogger, sorry. But honestly, this mon is so strong. Cryo can Acid Armor. It can just click Freeze Dry Ice Beam. It can Haze. This mon is really annoying. And yeah, if you could have to be captains, I probably would have Terra Capped Eggy and Cryo instead. I feel like I get a little bit more value out of at least Eggy. And I think Cryo with Terra is a demon, but Bisharp is also just so strong. So like, I don't even hate it. And Cryo can just click Ice Moves and just be annoying. And as I said, there's lots of dragons in the format, so Ice Beam is quite a nice clickable move to have, especially being above the base 90s. Now, like, a bad example is Reshiram, but a good example is Zekrom, so... Like, I could definitely see this mon cooking in the laboratory. So watch out for Cryo, guys, because Cryo is a uber-level threat. And that is my draft for the ZDL Season 2. Now, I want to do one thing. I want to look over every team. I kind of want to give my thoughts on each team because I think it adds a bit more to the draft analysis if I don't just talk about my team, but I talk about everyone else's. So let's start with Silverhawk's team. So Silverhawk actually has a snow team. Hiram White, Nuke, Nuke, Nuke. Glow King, a nice snow setter. Iron Threads is a great rapid spinner. And of course, we cannot forget about Silverhawk's favorite Pokemon, aka Babe, aka Primarina. Why does he name it Babe? I don't know. He probably likes to stick it in Primarina. I don't know. That's Silverhawk for you. Thunderous Therian. Clicks buttons. Totera, a very versatile and unique Terra Captain. And honestly, it's a Terra Captain I would have considered getting too. I don't blame him. It's actually a really strong Terra Captain. And honestly, a Terra Captain I want to try one day. Conkeldurr. Clicks moves. It's a fighting type. And it looks like Silverhawk IRL. Incineroar. Silverhawk's furry grandfather. Ambipom. Monkey! And lands the Alolan Sandslash. Pretty good team overall. I think it's a pretty good snow team. It does kind of get rolled by Earthquake, but I mean, hey, for Silverhawk, this is a team I know he can rock with. So I rate it a solid B tier. I would say 7 out of 10. Deadly Rose's team. Do you see what I'm looking at? Is that a Terra Galar Moltres? A Terra Magnezone? It's Spite Ups. You know, normally I would talk shit. What the fuck is Spite Ups doing on this team? But, I mean, for 1 point, it does what you need it to do. And those top fucking 7? You bring 6 of those 7 almost every week. Like, literally, what the fuck is Fluttermane Great Tusk Corviknight? Like, what? Like, your Fairy Steel Dragon Core is Fluttermane Corviknight Kyurem? Okay, that's a 10 out of 10 S tier team. Like, what in the fuck? Okay, so Spoopy's team. Terrakin Gambit, Zaclax, Enamorous Incarnate, or what Silverhawk calls Hottie. Oh my god. Zapdos, we all know him as Thundo, or Zack Attack nicknamed him Tyrannus. We got Pecharunt, aka Trap Card, or aka Zack Bander's Peaches. Gotta trust. We do love Pecharunt. Pecharunt is a goat. Parting Shot, Malignant Chain, Cookery. Gastrodon. He may be the Dawn, but Spoopy. I gotta tell ya. Just draft Quagsire. Gotta trust. Decidueye Decidueye, honestly, I love this mon. Triple Arrows is such a cool stick move. And honestly, people sleep on it. More Pekko. Rapid Spin. Magmortar. Fire-type Nuke. Rowlet. Totally my favorite Pokemon. And also, Rowlet is pretty cute. And for that, this team gets a 20 out of 10. Dire. He has a Giratina. He has an Iron Boulder, aka Iron Fraud. But with Terra, it's definitely not a fraud. It just clicks. And getting rid of its terrible typing is honestly not bad. Scizor, Sylveon, Milotic are going to be an annoying core to break along with Giratina, and Ogerpon, Heartflame, and Lando Eye are great offensively. I wish there was slightly more offense on this team, but I really do like the bulky approach, but also just how strong his clickers are. Like, you can easily run a Spec Sylveon, a Band Scizor. You can even run an offensive Milotic. I don't even hate that. Like, And Smeargle just being there for hyper offense, like, I could easily see you running hyper offense in this team. It's just... Yeah, it's a dire team, alright. J3. Hi, my name is Earthquake, and I like to click. But in all seriousness, though, this team has so much potential. I think if you just get rid of Bastiodon, Thwackey, Sandaconda, get yourself an actual ground resist, you know, get a bit more to help with their ground types. You know, I would have loved Earthworm for your team if I didn't have it. But I think just a little bit of a change can make this team go from like a 5 out of 10 to like a 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Like, this team is solid. I think this could genuinely go from like a C tier team to an A tier team if you just change it a little bit. And yeah, you also have Zach 2 of the Alolan Mux. So I don't know how to feel about that. And Creamtail, I mean, pretty cool. Mario fans team. All I have to say is Terra Latios, easy S tier. What the fuck are those top 3? My team, kind of the same thing. Like, I think both Mario fan and I have kind of similarness in we have crazy fucking Pokemon on our team. Like, our top, like, most teams that are top heavy have a bad bottom half, but I really like my bottom half. I think they complement my team perfectly, and I could see myself bringing every one of these Pokemon to at least 2 games. Like, even the stealth one. Like, honestly. Destroyer. Terra Ursa fucking Luna. And I don't have a ghost type on my team. So, might be cooked. Might be cooked. But in all seriousness, though, that Ursa Luna is a big threat. And that thing needs to be neutralized immunity. Because Ursa Luna is a problem. Latios is just a nuke. Sneasler plus Rillaboom is an amazing combo, and Magearna is one of the best Ubers. Ditto is just such a great Pokemon because you just transform. It's crazy. It's crazy in this bitch. I'm just checking something. Why is this like... See, I'm having this issue where like... Sure. Okay. We're back. We're cooking. We're brewing. Destroyer? I'm so glad you didn't pick fucking Chestnut! Okay. Next team. Kamiki. I hope I didn't butcher that. Terra Raging Bolt is ridiculous, but who the fuck likes Meganium? Who? Who actually likes this Pokemon? I'm sorry, but who the fuck likes Meganium? Alright, Raven's team. Is there anything besides I gotta say is Meowmander? The top fucking 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The top 8 are honestly insane. I think it falls off a bit at the end, but I think this team has so much potential with just a couple team swaps. Twisted Games. I like it, but Zaba Crown? Like, I get wanting Terra Torrenti, but I'll be real, I would prefer something like Skyman for this team. Just for that speedy offense. But I do respect the Zama Crown pick. It is quite a cool Pokemon. I think your team's kind of all over the place, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, those bottom 4. And even Sinisha and Pert. I don't hate it. Like, it's a good team, but it's not my favorite in the world. Meowadoria. SPDA friend. I like the team. Terra Annihilate is always sick. And while, yeah, Sableye does probably not need to be there, I get it. I get it. It sucks that it's your only dark type. It's not the greatest. I respect picking the mascot pick. You're not a pussy like me. You picked the mascot. Good shit. You actually picked up your mascot. Zack Attack. Just look at these Pokemon and tell me this team isn't crazy. This team is so offensive, but that Vileplume can put in work in. Honestly, that Webs plus Sandy Shock. Like, Sandy Shock would be a nuke. Thriller. I really do like the team, but I think you're missing a lot of key fundamentals. You not having a Fairy type does not help you. Well, no, you have a fairy type. What am I saying? You don't, like, I just think you need, like, an electric type. I really think an electric type on this team would really help you. And, like, the Necrozma doesn't need to be here. I get why you have it, but I feel like you could reallocate your points a little better. And I like the dual water core. I really understand what you're going for. I do respect it. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun with your team. And I think it's a joy. Like, this is the type of team, it's a fun team, right? But I don't think it's the best of the best. But I do respect it, and I do like the angle you're going for. King. Insane Sun team, but man, oh man, get that bitch out of here with his stupid-ass Gloom, bro. Who the fuck drafts Gloom? Without Terra. And Destroyer's probably, like, gonna come here and say, Zapmander, Gloom is the best 1.8. And he may be right. But man, you couldn't have gone something different. Glimmet, gotta trust. And then my boy Zell. A tier to the people, S tier in my heart. Those top 3 immediately just make this team so good. And honestly, I'm gonna make sure he cooks, because both of us, my goal is for both of us to make playoffs. He's after all my best friend, and if he doesn't make playoffs with me, then it's not gonna be as fun of a journey. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Gaming, and big gaming. So yeah, that is my draft analysis for the ZDL Draft League. Let's go over the team. So Galio, Iron Valiant, Lyscore, Skeledirge, Iron Hands, Tentacruel, and Orthworm, Spoopy, Bisharp, and Zack Attack. That is my squad for the ZDL Draft League. If I had to pick my favorite team, personally, if I had to pick my top 3, it would be Deadly Rose's team. Then it would be Zell's team. And then probably either J3 or Thriller's team. I think these teams are going to be the most fun to use. But obviously, I love my team, Destroyer's team, Luke's team, and Zack Attack's team, and also Spoopy's team. I haven't talked about this team enough. I think Spoopy's team, if I had to pick one team to use, it'd be Rose's. But honestly, next, it would probably be like Spoopy or Zell. Like, they have such fun teams. All these teams look so fun. Even King Sun team. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm probably the biggest critic of this team, if anything. I'm just not a fan of weather teams. And also, like, no Sandy Shocks really hurts. Really hurts this team. And I think you're missing a few key types. But I'm sure you can make it work. And then, I like Meowdoria's team and Werevern's team. Fun teams overall. So any other teams? Silverhawk, you suck at Pokemon. Alright, so that is it for my draft analysis. And guys, we are going to be doing team builders maybe coming back if I have time. I've been very busy with draft leagues, and I am slowing down my draft leagues a bit, so I'll definitely have more time to do team builders. And I'm really hoping I can do team builders for this season. I'm so excited to use my team. Please like, please subscribe, and leave a comment down below of why my team is good. No, I'm just kidding. Leave a comment, say what you want. Just don't say Silverhawk 2 up, please. That's all I ask. But yeah, with that out of the way, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.